Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to evening prayer. We have got a few names to lift up. Get my notebook set up here. All right, so the situation I addressed earlier concerning narcissism. You know, when you get into situations like that, especially if they blow up, especially if it's in the act of you're trying to diffuse it, and it goes where it shouldn't go, you're going to feel guilty. I do. I don't like getting to that point. I don't like going to that point. The one thing I never did was I never showed any hatred because I love my mother and I want her to see what she's doing because it always gets put off on other people. It's never, and even when the whole room sees her do it, she still wanted it. In the evidence, the fullness of evidence or witnesses, she still won't admit what she's doing, and she's blind; she can't see it. Now, there are several scriptures that talk about this, how people are blinded to what's going on. A lot of it's the world. In this case, there's a lot of worldly goods involved, and some of it is just that's the kind of person they are, and that's the way they're going to be. And at some point, you're just not going to change it, and it won't. Death, health issues, reasoning, nothing works. At some point, you've got to say, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. And you have to push them back and say, when you're ready to talk like an adult, when you're ready to reason, let me know. Otherwise, I can't be around you and I can't fellowship with you. And you hate to say that to a parent, but I was talking with my father earlier. Me and him have had our go-arounds. But he finally came to a place where he realized he can't push like that. And it's not that I disrespect my parents. It's just that at a certain point, when your kids become adults, you cease to be their parent, and you are now their friend. Both of my kids, when they hit that age, I waited about 2 years, and then I took each one, sat them down. I was like, so from now on, I'm your father because of birth, but I'm not your father anymore in attitude. I'm your friend, and I'll treat you as such. And I've done that to both my kids. And so you're now an adult, and you need to grow and act like one. And I treated him as such. I never believed in treating my kids when they were adults like my kids. They're still my kids. They know they're my kids, but I want them to be free-thinking, open adults taking care of their own business, and they both are. But there's a lot, and you guys can relate. I read some of y'all's comments. In these situations, it's hard. It's hard to know what the right thing is to do. I've gone into prayer. I don't know. There's no easy answer, and really, honestly, there's no right answer. But how long do you let stuff like that go before you do something, before you say something? At this point, I got to put it in the Lord's hands and let Him deal with it because I've done everything I can think of, even to the point of going too far, and nothing has worked. I've even talked to friends and asked them to talk. Nothing has worked. I've thought about being nice. I've done everything in the world. Nothing. So it is what it is. So if you're in that same situation, you know what I'm talking about. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do what you can to lay it out at His feet for Him to deal with, because He knows the perfect way to deal with it. And He knows the perfect timing. And it may take something drastic. Some people, that's what it seems to be. Of course, some people, that's not enough. Anyway, let's get into what we're talking about here. We're going to go out of 1 Corinthians 13, the greatest gift. It's not what you think it is. It actually goes into something very, very good, which is what we need. And this kind of leads off from what I was just talking about. So let's read through this. And what's funny enough is our truth verse is out of 1 Corinthians 13 also. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. You can see right off the bat, it's love that glues everything together. There's people out there that have, they are, you look at them and it's like, this is like borderline prophet / apostle material here, the way this person does things. And they may even write, miracles. And there's no love. extreme narcissism and arrogance. The person in the place of having a lot of gifts needs to be more humble, because there's a responsibility that goes along with those gifts. Verse 3, and though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long. Yeah. And is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil. Well, I got provoked today. Does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. And all the things that we strive for love the most. You can be. I was reading in just before I came on to do this. I was reading in Romans 15. I think it was Romans 15 about, the sins we do, yet they're forgiven, but we do them to promote God. He gets the glory. The different things Paul was referring to, I had to go back and I did a read through a playlist on Romans. I had to go back and read through it. But when there's no love present, there's nothing behind it that has any good fruit bearing. If love isn't, and you can go in, you can rail on somebody because they're making a mistake, because you're scared for their life. You're trying to save their life. Somebody on drugs or something like that. I've read stories of people. In fact, I knew somebody in Oklahoma took a family member, tied them up in a shed out in the country, and then let them out till they were dry. Because they loved them. They cared about them. They got between them and drugs, something that they were about to die on. Was that person wrong? Well, according to the legal system, they were. But they did it from a place of love because they loved that family member so much they did not want to see them die. Now, most people don't understand why people do certain things the way they do them, or to the people that they do them. But I learned a long time ago, and I mentioned this lightly in a few other videos a couple months back, but there's people I've known in little towns that I've lived in throughout my life that they were the town jerk. They were the town bully. They were this and that. But it turned out people didn't understand them. It turned out they were very, very nice, polite people, amazingly polite people. They just didn't want to be messed with. They had had a rough life, and it really jaded them to dealing with people, and they were sick of it. And so they put on a defensive wall to protect themselves, to keep from being hurt more. I understand this completely. But it turned out those people are just the most incredible, loving, caring people. Are they bad because of the way they do those things? Well, not if they have love. And that's what Paul's talking about here in 1 Corinthians. If I am perfect in every way, but there's no love in me, none of it is worth anything. It is completely irrelevant. It is one big zero. If I have the ability to save every life on the planet and turn the tide of humanity, heal every disease, just really make things perfect, back like it was in the Garden of Eden, but there's no love, excuse me, it's worthless. It's useless. It means nothing. Love is the deciding factor. Love is the driving force. And love is what we should strive for. Because if I still stumble, and I still make mistakes, which I do, but if the driving force behind what I'm doing, other people will see it and they'll look on it negatively, but if the driving force behind it is love-based, then there's something there. There's substance there. I didn't start out yelling today, but I was trying to diffuse the situation because I saw where it was going and how badly it was being pushed that direction. Nobody was listening. Then we went outside and I tried to take the little boy in the situation, which everybody forgot about at that moment, out of the situation followed me, which it always seems to do. And then I tried to diffuse it again, and the situation came back and got in my face. So, and as hard as I tried to calm it down, it did nothing. It was instant attack. I mean, like vicious attack. So I lashed back to shut it down. Am I wrong for doing that? I feel a little guilty for doing it. Was I justified? Yeah. That was an attack. I mean, she was coming straight at me. And so in order to stop it and to shut it down before it got worse, that's what I did. But in the whole instance, there was love behind it. And even after everything shut down and me and my brother were talking, I told him, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed and frustrated that this is the best. This is the best there is. It could be better. So, like I said, at some point, you just got to say enough is enough. At some point, you have to decide, I can't help this situation anymore. Now, what Paul talks about in here isn't necessarily enduring in a situation that is that kind of negative. It may be you need to be removed from that situation, and the Lord will put somebody else in there to fix that person or to square them away. He'll use you to reach family, but if you can't do it, at some point, do you keep going? I mean, God does. I'm not God. I can't keep going. I sure try, but at some point, it becomes a wasted effort, just like blocking people on YouTube. At some point, the conversation is literally going to go nowhere. Why am I going to waste my time and energy on a conversation that person has no intention of paying attention to? It's a waste of time. Why would I put my car in gear and start driving when the back end is up on jack stands off the ground and I ain't going nowhere? Why am I going to keep pushing the accelerator? It's a waste of time. I'm not going anywhere. Nothing's happening. So you got to make a judgment call at some point and say, that's it. And it sucks because it never comes out good, ever. And I know in a couple of days the situation's going to come to that, and it's not going to come out good. But it is what it is. I've got to make a decision somewhere. And hopefully this me sharing a few details about my situation, judging by the comments of many of y'all are in the same situation, it'll help you make a decision about yours. But whatever you do your best to keep it as down low as possible. And you got to be hard-nosed. You can't leave one string attached. You have to cut the whole rope. Because if you don't, that one string they're going to use to get back into your life. You got to block phone numbers, you got to block Facebook, you got to block everything. And completely sever ties and then let them think about it. And sometimes that's enough. Not always, but sometimes. Let's get into some prayer. I've talked way too long. Lord, we come before you tonight in your name to thank you for your mercy and your grace, to give you praise, honor, and glory for the amazing works that you're doing, for opening our eyes to the truth that is contained within your word, and providing for us this incredible word so easily that we can access it literally everywhere. Lord, the handwriting is on the wall. People are making decisions. There's a scripture that says, I have come to separate father and son, mother and daughter, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, father-in-law, and son-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. And I had shared that just a few days ago, or about a week ago. But, it really becomes real when you have it happen in your own family. Lord, I take this situation I'm in and I lay it at your feet because I can't deal with this. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do because I've done everything on all ends of the scale. And nothing has worked. I have no more ideas. Lord, you know how to deal with it. And I've actually seen you try to reach her through various sources and nothing has worked. So I'm going to remove myself from the situation. Lord, if you don't want me to, please let me know and I won't. But I see no other option here until I hear from you. Lord, we have people that are going through the same situation that I'm going through in their personal lives. Lord, I pray and I lift them all up. And they know who they are. And I pray that you give them a solution to their problem. When is enough enough? When you have to ask the question, what's it going to take? And they don't know what you're talking about. And you tell them, what is it going to take to get through to you? What is it going to take to wake you up? And you just get attacked more. How long do we keep going, Lord? I've been at it for 49 years. How long do we keep going before we just write it off and move on? And you'll bring somebody. We know you'll bring somebody else in. How long do we keep trying? How long do we invest time and energy in one person who is showing no interest in any of this, who's doing everything they can to destroy their family? It's a hard question to ask, and it's an even harder one to answer. But Lord, we know you know the perfect way to deal with this. We know that you know the perfect timing to deal with this. We also know, being honest with ourselves and real, that not everybody's going to heaven. And there are people that we know that are going to not go to heaven. They're going to go to hell. They're going to be in eternal torment. It is what it is. You told us this was going to happen. So we believe you and we trust you. And it may be somebody very close to us that ends up doing that. But we also know that you are the God of second chances. You paid the sin debt and you made the way easy. And if there is a chance, if there is a way, you will turn them. It may take the tribulation, but you'll turn them. You'll get them to come around. But the one disadvantage we have, the main disadvantage we have, is that we can't see into people's hearts. And we don't know what's really there. All we can see is what's on the outside. And in many of our lives, Lord, as you know, you're there. You're seeing it all. It's pretty clear what's going on the outside. Lord, help us deal with this externally in the right way as best as possible. I regret having to yell today, and I'm sorry for that, but it was a defense mechanism because she was advancing on me. These people get violent. But help us to deal with it internally. Dealing with it externally is one thing. Dealing with it within ourselves is a whole different matter. These kinds of things can cause pain that can last forever and ever and ever, a long time, years and years. These things can cause hard feelings and cause disconnects that last lifetimes, and it doesn't need to be that way. Lord, you've called us to a grand calling. You've called us for salvation, to stand in heaven with you. And my desire, and I know the people watching this, their desire, is that we want to follow you, we want to honor you, we want to worship you, and we want to stand in heaven with you. And we ask you to show us the right way to do that. Please have mercy on us for the mistakes that we make. Please bless us with peace and with love and with temperance and patience. But when situations like this arise, Lord, please give us the right way to address it and the right answer. I immediately saw where the situation was going and I left. I removed myself from it because I knew it was going to get worse. And I should have left before that. I shouldn't have let it go that far. But it is what it is. Lord, I pray that it doesn't happen again. And I pray that the people that are suffering through the same thing, you give an answer to them and you bless them. While we're at it, Lord, I'd like to lift up Raymond. He is asking prayers for CJ to get saved. Madison is asking for prayers for fear attacks and her thoughts. She's in confusion and she's in questions. Lord, give her answers. Give her truth and root her in that truth. And Elizabeth, her husband, Gayton, I know I messed that up, praying for his salvation. And Lord, I lift up my own mother for salvation. Because after the things I've seen the last 2 years, there's nothing there. You may see something I don't see, but there's nothing there. Because the fruit, what comes out of her mouth is what's coming out of her heart. And I can't find anything usable there. And is concerning and it hurts. But overall, Lord, help us to deal with these individual situations properly as best we can. Like you said, live as peaceably as you can, as it concerns you, it pertains to you. Sometimes it's not always peaceful. But we know you're faithful, and we know you're watching, and we know you have everything under control. Help us to change, to set the example, and help us to help others change, to follow the example. We bless you, Lord, and we praise you. And while we're at it, let's do 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 6 again. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but it rejoices with the truth. Lord, help us rejoice with the truth. Help us to have this kind of love. Help us to have the kind of love you have. Put that love in our hearts, that we may share that love with everybody. I already sense you giving me an answer to the situation I have. Thank you, Lord. I'm going to thank you now because I know it's coming. I feel it coming. I pray you do this for everybody that's suffering through this. Give them the right answer, the right words. Because we know once the door is shut, and once the lights are turned off, that's it. They'll get to see the light one more time. And most of them are probably going to go right back in a place worse. Help us save them, Lord. You save them. You know the right way to do it. We don't. Because I don't want anybody I know to go there. I don't want anybody I know to be there and then I know it and dwell on the mistakes that I made trying to reach them. Or shoulda, coulda, woulda, done more. But I put it all in your hands no matter what. You have it. You know how to do it. And so I'm going to trust you for that. But if there's the right word to say, Lord, give it to me so I can say it. If there's the right way to deal with it or address it, Lord, give it to me. Put your love and your patience in me and in those who want it so that we can deal with these situations properly and be your light emanating from us to those people. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for your mercy and your grace. And we thank you for loving us and being kind to us and having patience with us as we work through this life and learn and figure these things out and push out the junk and bring in the good and try to pull away from this world the way it is. It's hard. Keep us strong and keep us rooted in your truth. It is in your name that we pray. Amen. Thank you guys for joining me for evening prayer. Like I said, there's no easy answer. Go into prayer. He's already given me answers on what to say and what to do right now as we're talking. Go into prayer, ask him what to do, and trust him. He'll get you through it. He'll give you the right thing to say or show you how to remove yourself from the situation. Whatever needs to happen. But the one thing we don't want is we don't want to walk into eternity knowing that there was something else we could have done. I mean, we want to exhaust all possibilities, if possible. I love you guys. I bless you all in Jesus' name, and I will see you guys in the next video.